like a remote start.
I know. I thought about it the last time that we did it, and then I was like, man, it'll be all right. Welcome to What's in the Box podcast. Welcome to What's in the Box podcast.
Woo! With Zachy?
Yeah, and Haley. And we're gonna do talks. We're gonna talk.
We're gonna be here.
So I gotta say this first before we get started. Okay. I think it's really funny that, like, since me and you started doing this,
yeah,
like the views have gone up, but it's different.
How so?
Like the last one me and you did is probably like the highest like we've ever gotten.
Okay.
It was like 80 something views or whatever.
That's pretty cool.
And the little short thing that I did for that one.
With the Mountain View.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one got like 8,000 views or whatever. But the one that me and Cheryl did,
yeah,
the short, the like real part of it got like 1,000 some views, but the podcast itself only got like 6. So it's like really weird. Like,
I mean, it's just starting off.
I know,
because like it just came out on Thursday.
Yeah.
So
I know it has time. I know. I was just saying that. I just think it like, and it's the timing of it, which is weird. I never really thought about that because like when I post them, I normally post them I have it auto post at 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done that since we started on I think every Friday. Because like in my head, I'm like, oh, 8 a.m. that'll give it time to like get into people's things. And then like Friday is normally the day that like people get off work early or go do stuff. So like it'll be in there.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. Like there's a window. And if you miss that window, then it like kind of like tapers off. Like the one with me and you, the moment it posted at 8 a.m., I did like all the TikTok and like Snapchat and like did the shorts and everything all at the same time.
Yeah.
And then like I said, like that's like the highest for both things. It's like the highest that it's ever been in like the 2 almost 3 years me and Cheryl have been doing it. But last week when me and Cheryl's did, I forgot that I auto posted it. Okay. So the episode itself posted at 8 a.m. and then I didn't get to like do all the other stuff. Yeah, until like 11:30 or like noon-ish. And so, like I said, it's like there's like a window in there. It's really, I don't know. It's just really weird. I saw it in real time last week, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. Anyway, but how are you? How's your week? How's it going?
Okay. Today I'm riding a high. Like today's been a really high day.
Wonderful day.
Wonderful day.
That's good.
My journaling the last 2 weeks has not been great, but like. Opie, is it on?
No, your thing is not on.
Why didn't you turn me on?
I didn't think. I thought I did.
Well, that's going to be a good clip.
No, it's fine.
No. Okay.
It takes off of mine.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Hi, anyways. So last weekend was Opie's birthday, and like the prep for that week, even I was very thankful that I had the grocery list and the meal planning done for that day. But like my idea of how that week was gonna go and what actually happened, was like no. So I picked up a shift at work because I needed the money, and it was like okay, I'm not fully conscious for this moment decision, but it's just like at the same time that's like how it had to play.
You don't want to miss out on it,
right? Yeah. Or like even just to help the coworker who needed the shift off, like it's just good morale to be able to help when you can, and I could, and it worked out. Like the cupcake thing that I had to do didn't have to do, so like it worked out. But then like Friday into Saturday, all I did was like prep for the party, which means bake 36 cupcakes, made puppy chow. My mom helped me cut cheese and sausage, and we did a charcuterie board.
Charcuterie.
A fancy. Charcuterie. And then we made dirt cup, pudding cup thingies.
Which was really good, by the way.
I'm glad you liked
it. It was really good. It was very nostalgic for me.
It was. is. Like,
you
me
said it,
too.
because you said it, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And then I saw it in real life, and I was like, oh man,
it was so like real life. And the funny thing is we've continued to buy pudding, and like it's our cheap dessert because we have sweet treats at night, and like it's been so easy. And then last night, like Opie wanted a snack. We were having dinner late, so I was like, yeah, me and you we'll have a pudding cup. And I talked about it, and I was just like, yeah, me and my mom, like my mom, that was our fancy dessert. We had it like 3 times a week, but she'd like do it up all fancy and like martini glasses
martini
and
glasses,
like serving dessert glasses, and it was the fanciest thing in the world for a little kid. Anyways, it took me back. So like cramming those 2 days of all the things, and then on top of that it was the birthday, and then it was like new experience, the whole house and filled with people, and it was the hottest day, 87 degrees, and we have a 150-year-old house and no air conditioning, and everyone was sitting inside because like that's where the party stuff was. But it's like we don't really have a yard, we have a driveway.
For what it's worth, it wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be when you were like, we have no AC.
Yeah.
I was like, awesome.
I was like, no, I have box fans, I have every window open imaginable.
But it wasn't really that hot for what it's, I mean, at least for me.
I'm glad. So yeah, it was that, and then Sunday I got up and I went to work. So it's like I had no time to decompress. Really,
like chill. It was like cool. That happened.
It was cool. That happened. I have like an hour till I go to bed, and then I woke up in the morning and I was like, I don't want to do anything, but I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna go do the work thing. And I got home from work, and that's where I'm super proud of myself, because like usually when I'm so run down and burnt out, it's like I just shut down and I don't talk or explain what I need, and then like I short circuit at home. So it's like I sat down after work so exhausted, and all I dreamed of at work was taking a hot bath. And Opie's like already in my face, and she's like, Mom, I want to do this and I want to do this, and can we do this? And I'm just like, baby, I love you, but I spent all week in the last 2 days doing nothing but making sure yesterday happened, and then I went to work today.
And I would really like 15
and I would
minutes.
really like, no, I was like, I straight up need an hour. I need an hour in the bathtub. And Kevin was like right next to me. He's just like, yeah, that's fair. And I was like, okay, cool. So we're all under the understanding, like I'm disappearing for the next hour.
So for that, I mean, we can get into what we were originally going to talk about, but I am going to ask you. No, it's fine. I am going to ask you about that though, because I was thinking about that when we were there.
Yeah.
Is that has that, because Opie's 5 now, has that gotten easier, or is it kind of just like we're going to be stressed out for these couple days and this is how it's going to be and we're just going to deal with that later? Or is it, or have you like thought of like, okay, I'm going to be burnt out by the end of this, so like I'm not going to take these things too serious, or I'm not going to like, because
it's all, you can finish.
No, I was just going to say, because like I know that like one, family events are stressful in itself regardless of the family, but but I feel like it's something that like me and Cheryl talked about with our wedding, and kind of something I've kept in my head as far as like doing stuff like that, like family get-togethers or like birthday parties or whatever, is that like, yeah, I have a plan and how I would like all this to go, and like what I want to get and what I want things to look like and like stuff like that. But I always keep it in my head of like, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's not really that important. No. No, it's fine. I was just asking because like even with with Wyatt's birthday party, when we did the wrestling birthday party or whatever, there was so much that I wanted to do and so much I had planned on doing, and like we need to get this and this, and I want it to look like this and whatever, that didn't happen because like we either ran out of money or ran out of time, or other things happened in between there. And then like while we were at the birthday party, I remember just sitting there like, that stuff really doesn't matter. Like, they're having fun. He's having fun. Like, the fact that this thing isn't here or this thing didn't turn out, it's not really that big a deal. So I was just wondering if like you've had that, or if it's just like over time, or if it's just like I'll deal with it later.
I think more of mine is more of the thought of like how I want it to be presented. Like I haven't really thought like we've done crafts in the past and it's more been like my mother-in-law planning an activity or like some sort of Halloween craft and bringing that along for the kids. And like this year she asked like if she could help out in any way and I was like, yeah, cool, you can grab a piñata. Opie mentioned she wanted one. And then she had it in a cooler and like outside, so it was like ADD mind and out of sight,
that
out
it's
of
not
mind.
here. Yeah.
That it's not here.
Yeah.
So then like all the kids went home and like you guys were the, like one of the last kids and she's like, oh, we have a piñata. And I was like,
I guess she's just gonna do it.
Yeah, it's just gonna be her and her friend Sienna, which was fine. They had a great time with it. It took forever, but it like
by the way, speaking of, I just want to throw that out there. I remember piñatas breaking way easier when I was younger.
They were made so much
I've seen
like
so
paper
many
mache, just paper mache back in the day, and
I know,
now
I've
it's
seen
like
so many
straight
kids.
box cardboard.
That's what I was gonna say. I've seen so many kids like been not only at birthday parties myself, but like seen other kids' birthday parties in the piñata or whatever. And I remember them breaking so easy in the last, not Wyatt, but the last kid birthday party I went to. They had a piñata, and it took forever for it to break. And I was just sitting there. I was like, I remember this breaking so easy when I was younger. It was like 30 minutes of like everybody just hitting it.
But yeah, so it's like I have a plan, and like her first birthday, like I really just wung it. It was like I knew I wanted her to have a smash cake, but I didn't want it made by a store because that's just my thing. And then like we had I went crazy on balloons, like all the helium balloons. And then like for that one, we had it at the diner, like in the banquet hall or portion. And then every year after that, it was still super nice the first weekend in October. So we just wung it and had it out in the yard. But it was always like around the same general thing. It was just like cake, like a lunch, presents, and then like us running around and hanging out in the yard. So like this year, or like I was thinking next year, like how I'm gonna do it in future, like planning more for the kids to actually like do something. Like I read about a tea party like type.
That'd be cool
Situation for her to invite a couple girls too, and like end up taking their teacup home, like making it a candle type situation. So it's like stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I go into it and usually like, well, her first year was really hard because I was still going through a lot of stuff mentally. In this year, I've seen a lot of shifts in where I was at, like handling frustrations or things, and like overwhelm and just like the anxiety of everyone being in the house and like not really knowing what to do with myself because I'm so overstimulated and like just having moments where I'm like, oh shit, I really just need to breathe. And like the one time I chose to take that moment for myself, it was so incredible because I went outside and I took a deep breath and I looked up and there was this beautiful hawk just flew right over me, over the house into the backyard. And I was just like, yep, this is exactly what I needed. And then you guys rolled up and I was like, even better. Like, I'm cool now. I'm good.
I've told Cheryl that's something that like I try to keep in mind as far as like birthdays and stuff like that, is because for me it's kind of the same way too as far as being overwhelmed. Like I don't mind people being here and being at the house or whatever, but after like 15 minutes I'm like, I don't know, I have that like anxiety of like, oh, are people getting enough food? Is my kid having enough? Is everybody having a good time? Are people upset that this didn't get done? Or is my house clean enough? Is this still laying out? Did I forget this? Did I do like that sort of thing? And so I told Cheryl, I was like, there are multiple times when that happens that I have to remind myself of like, doesn't matter, figure it out later. It's not about everybody else. Is your kid having a good time? That's really like, and there's so much thing, and I've talked to my dad about this. There's so many things that like because I've told him, and he was saying that he went through the same thing when I was younger, is that there's so many things as parents that like we're trying to give in some way or another, we're trying to give our kids something we didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And we're so focused on that we forget that most of our kids don't really care.
Yeah.
They don't really care that the cake is this big extravagant thing. They really don't care that they only got like 4 presents. They really
Right.
they really don't care about those things.
No,
But
it's
like
all
as a
about the
parent,
stuff.
you're like, no, I want you to have like this thing, and I want to give you like the best thing. And so that's something that like I told Cheryl that I have to keep reminding myself of, like, as long as like they're happy, the rest of the stuff just isn't as important as I think it is.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think like I don't stress so much on like the gifts or anything because I'm always like, we're here for you guys to celebrate her and be here to show her love for her day. Like the gifts aren't the main thing, and we try and like teach that in a way to her too. But like my main thing is worrying about everyone because of the heat. So I'm like trying to make sure everyone has water at all times. And it's like I really didn't slow down enough to watch her enjoy herself. Other than like sitting with her and opening the gifts, I was like moving around or like showing someone the house or like doing something to cater to someone instead of just relaxing and being like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And like I think that's my
Meh.
and then but other than that, it was good. Like, and I took care of myself afterwards, and like having that hour, like I came out of there, I did dinner, like the rest of the night, like I was super attentive to my family, and like I knew in prior years I just would have shut down because I
And
have
gone to bed.
and gone to
Been
bed
like, that
and
was
just been
nice.
like it
Bye.
would have
Yeah.
rolled in, and then it would have like slowed me into a depression if I wasn't already there. So it's like I'm not there. And this week I finished out my fourth week, and I have one session left, and she gifted me 2 more, so I get a whole another week with her.
Nice.
Yeah, and I feel so strong this week.
Feel a lot
Like
better.
I feel
It's
good.
good.
Like even today at work, running around really helped, but like just coming off that shift, I didn't feel like my back was tweaked out. I felt like I was in good posture all day. It felt amazing. So I feel, yeah, I'm having a good one this week. Other than like the weekend I was trapped all weekend. Like not really trapped, just cooped up at the house because Opie had the sniffles, but it's good. We're good. She's better now. And we're here.
So what I told you we were going to talk about, because I feel like it's important, and I was talking, I can't remember who it was. I was talking to somebody about this, that I feel like there's two, because this, I'm going to give you an example, and this blew my mind that there are actual people like this, just because like
we're not.
not only we're not, but strangely, I've never really been around people that are like this. But there are two different. I've found out there are two different people there when it comes to music. Sorry, that was
we should probably
the
lead
topic.
in. We're talking
That was the
about
topic.
music.
We're talking about music, but there was, which also on the next one that I do with Cheryl, we are also going to talk about music, but specifically about Ozzy, because me and her were talking about how Ozzy transcends not only genres but generations, and it wasn't done on purpose. I think that's really cool. So anyway, so yeah, me and her are going to talk about that.
Next time.
But
next week.
But because I was going to talk to you about this, I found out that there are two different types of people. There are people that like have music and it's a all the time, everyday thing. Like even if you're not listening to music, you're like thinking about music, or like there are certain lyrics that like pop in your head throughout the day that are very music oriented. There are people that are like that, which we are, and I've always been around people that are like that. So I just thought that everybody was like that. I found out, however, that there are people that don't listen to music. And that just fucking blew my mind. There are people that go on car rides in silence. It blew my mind. I was like, but why? Why would, like, I just don't know. No, well, yes, but but there are people, like there was I am gonna name drop just because that was the interview that I was like, what? John Cena did an interview, and they asked him what his favorite type of music is. And he said, I don't really listen to music. And I just didn't get it. And they asked him, they're like, oh, well, like, you know, you spent years in wrestling or whatever, like on the road, driving place to place. Like, is there something that you listen to on the way to venue to venue? He's like, I don't really listen to music. Like, if I get in the car and the radio's on, I'll maybe hear a song or two. But for the most part, I just don't. And I was like, I just can't imagine. Like, not, like, and it's not just like a 30-minute car ride. Like, John Cena drives from like state to state. Like, I couldn't imagine being in a car for 4 to 5 hours in silence. Like,
Yeah,
that
that would
just
suck.
blows my mind.
That would be the worst road trip ever.
But I feel like, but because I'm not that way, after watching that, I was thinking about how I wonder, and I don't really have an answer for this. It was just a thought that I had. I wonder if there's something to that, if there's a different part of the brain that needs like music, that
The
needs like
stimulation.
something. Yeah, that needs like something. Because like for me, I have music on regardless, everywhere, all the time, even if I'm not paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are times that I have the radio on and I'm talking to Cheryl on a car ride, and I couldn't tell you what song was on. I couldn't tell you for 30 whole minutes what song was playing. But if I didn't have that, I would internally be super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, just like sitting in silence, like talking to somebody or like driving. And so I was wondering if maybe that's like a different part of the brain that you need that sort of like stimulation in some way. Anyway, but
Could be neurospicy people.
Neurospicy people.
Neurospicy.
I think that's a good chunk of it. I think, because even without music, like I'll have things on all the time.
Right, you just
Like,
need that noise.
Yeah, that background, like.
Or it could be just the generation that we grew up in, too, because like the TV kids or the bedroom kids, where we had our own safe haven and not a whole lot of
like
rules in there. Like,
I was gonna say my TV. Yeah, my TV never was off.
And if my TV was off, my radio was blaring. Like,
I was so consistent. That I knew what time it was for school by what was on. I knew if I was late. I knew if I was late or not. If Little Einsteins came on, because I would always fall asleep to. I would specifically fall asleep to Disney Channel.
Yeah.
And if Little Einsteins came on when I woke up, I knew that it was 7:00, so I had like a half an hour to get ready and get to school. But if Mickey Mouse Clubhouse came on, it was 9, so I was already late. So depending on like what show was on TV when I woke up, I knew whether I was like late for school or needed to get up. And it was so like ingrained in my head that I didn't even need, like, there were a lot of times where I didn't even need to like open my eyes. Just if I heard part of it, I was like, oh shit.
I'm late.
But I think that's true. I think that there's a lot of that. And also, we grew up, and I was just talking to Cheryl about this, we also grew up in a generation of constant music, even on TV. You know what I mean? Like, we had MTV, we had pop-up video, we had VH1, we had the radio that was on. We didn't have Spotify, so.
Well, no, we didn't have Spotify. We had Sirius Radio eventually.
If that, I was gonna say, if you could get that.
It's just like, I was a music kid before, like, I had like, my earliest memories are like my dad having his cookouts and there being music playing, or him cooking and there being music playing. Like, he'd chill at night and watch TV, but if it was like during the day and he was out working, the music was playing. And it's just like, well, then we got a radio in our room as a kid, and then we got to experience the radio, but then we figured out that the cassette player recorded the radio. So then it was just like, all right, we'd sit by the radio and listen to the whole radio just to wait for the one start of that favorite song to come on, so you could record it on the cassette tape, and then you had it for like ever. And then it moved into, we got computers, and
Crash
Windows
computers with
Media Player.
I was gonna say with LimeWire.
Yeah, well, okay, you guys had LimeWire. I didn't have that. I just stacked everyone's CDs and uploaded it to my computer, and then I played and made whatever I wanted. And like my brother and my sister, they gamed. Like my brother was a big PC gamer, still is. My sister played PS and Xbox and all them, like, because we had them. I sat on the computer and I made CDs. Like, I burned CDs and I'd sit there and I'd play solitary and I'd listen to the music. And why? Because I could cancel out the world. I could plug in my big ass headphones and I could crank it up and not hear anything.
Do you remember having to manually put in the song titles?
Yes.
Because they would just show up as like track 1, whatever.
Yeah, track 1, and track 2, and you had to
go in and and you had to go in and edit what it actually was called.
Yeah.
I remember doing that on before I moved up here. My best friend had the original Xbox, and I remember him. I can't remember which one. Had to be Eminem Show, because that would have been before I moved up here.
Oh, that was another thing.
But he got that, and I remember spending the night at his house the day he got it, and he uploaded it, and like just spending the time. I remember sitting in his room while he was just spending the time like going in and like changing it from like track 1 to like what it actually was, and like doing it for the whole album just to have it saved on his Xbox. It's crazy. And now, I mean, you don't have to do that at all. Like everything.
No, everything is instantaneous. Speaking of Eminem, like going way back, Trailer Park, my Trailer Park experience. Anyways, Eminem was extremely influential in my childhood just because like one of the first CDs I actually like physically listened to in a like compact portable CD player was the Eminem Show and White America and Real Slim Shady and like all of that. And it was during like heavy trauma that this was introduced to me. Like my dad was an alcoholic and he'd come home and like he'd have fits of rage and like he'd try to take us with him from the situation. And my stepbrothers were angels, God sent, and they'd protect us any way they could. And it was like they'd hand us the CD players and like make sure we were protected in some way. So Eminem was my favorite. He still is. I could go.
We can talk about that.
But
I have a I have a funny story. 2 stories with that. One, my dad has a funny story about it because.
But he loved Eminem.
I know, but he has a funny story about that specifically. So, the Eminem Show. I won't name names, but long story short, I'll shorten it. My sister had a boyfriend that lived in another state, and they were just talking online or whatever, back like in instant messenger times and whatever.
Yeah.
And so my dad, like my sister begged him to get this guy a ticket to come, or a plane ticket to come to us so that she could meet him and like he could stay here, and like my mom had a daycare so he could get a job and whatever, because he was the greatest in her mind. And my dad he came here, he did get a job with my mom, and he gave me that album, the Eminem Show. He gave it to me. He bought it, gave it to me, and was like, here, because like I liked Eminem and he was trying to like do something of like, look, I'm being cool.
Be good.
Yeah. So I played. That's still probably in my top 10 favorite albums of all time. With everybody, with every genre, it's definitely up there, top 10. Just because, not only because it's a great album, but because that album I had on loop forever. Because that was at a time, and this is kind of what I was saying before. In that time, you didn't have access to anything else. What you had is what you had, unless you went to like a CD store or whatever and knew what you were looking for.
Yeah.
Like, as far as like the availability now to like find any artist in any genre and go through their whole fucking catalog or whatever. Yeah, that didn't happen. So what you had for music is what you had in the house. And the first album I ever bought was Hybrid Theory. It's still to this date the most frequently bought album that I've ever had. I bought it 12 times because it kept breaking in various, like my brother would break it or it would get super scratched or I would leave it somewhere or whatever. That album specifically I bought 12 times.
You're ridiculous.
But after that I bought the Marshall Mathers LP, which that is my top 5 greatest albums of all time. And then I got that one. And so like Eminem and like there was a couple other artists I would listen to all the time. And I came from a place in Iowa I grew up with a very diverse background. Like any type of like ethnicities, any type of walks of life, like rich people, poor people, like I grew up in the melting pot of like everything. So I really like I didn't think outside of that box. Like I was just like, oh yeah, everybody's like this. Like that whole like, not that it was to that degree, but that whole like small town living, nobody ever leaves the same like city. We all know each other. We all know each other's parents. Never went through my head until we moved up here, and we moved to Seymour, and
which is exactly that.
Yeah, and that song. So like I said before, when we would go on road trips all the time, even to this day, it was just constant music or whatever. And I remember pulling into Seymour after my dad was like, "This is where we're gonna live." Like we already bought the duplex or whatever here. This is where we're moving. I remember that song came on as we were coming down the hill into Seymour. And my dad tells a story all the time because it makes him laugh. I looked at him and I went, "You moved me to fucking white America." And I was so pissed. I was so mad.
Oh my God. I listened to that the other day and
he still tells that story because he just thinks it was so funny. But also to counteract that statement, I do appreciate, and I've said this before, I do appreciate that I grew up there. Because I think it was for me, it was a very grounding thing. I don't know. I think I would be. I've told people this. I don't know because I don't have a time machine or can't go to other universes.
Right.
But I'm grateful growing up in Seymour and being there at the age I came there and through my development because I feel like that grounded me a lot more than if I would have stayed in Iowa. I think my personality would be a lot different than it is personally. So I'm grateful for that. But just like in the moment, you took me from all of my friends and my first girlfriend at the time.
Dude, I can't even.
My first girlfriend at the time. Just asked her out. I was so fucking pissed. It was like, what was it, 6th grade? The end of 6th grade? I just asked her out like a month before my dad was like, yeah, we're leaving.
Dude, I moved 14 times. 14 times by the time I hit Seymour. So, like, it was like, all right, I'm here for it. I don't know how long I'm going to be here for it, but I'm here for it.
Figure it out.
And, yeah. So, I was used to saying goodbye to people and, like, the idea of moving, that it was just, like, we rolled into Seymour, and it was freshman year, and my last name, my maiden name is Seymour. So rolling into...
So, like, everybody had something to say about it?
Everyone, like, teachers including that, and being a girl in high school is just a fucked up situation. Like, any kid in high school is, but, like, I developed my skin condition when I was 15 years old, and I mean, I have psoriasis, and right now, it doesn't look bad. But
I was gonna say, it's definitely not as bad as I've seen it.
Yeah, and like, anyways, kids are not nice.
Kids are not nice.
Very not nice, okay? I got bullied a lot for it, and it only toughened my psoriasis right up. But music, like, I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, I
lost my train of thought.
I was gonna ask with
being
that.
in Seymour, I guess. Like, I'm grateful for some of the people that I have in my life, like you and Cora, and that would have never happened if I didn't go to Seymour. Seymour definitely shaped me in a lot of ways, the experiences, but like, I didn't give a fuck about school because I was so over moving. It was more of a joy to hang out with friends.
Well, I was gonna say, even Cheryl says that she moved so much that when she got to middle school, she almost failed out of middle school because of that. She says that all the time, that because she had moved so often, she had that in her headspace of like, why does it matter?
Yeah.
Like, why does it matter if I make friends or do this good work at school or anything like that? It's not going to matter because we're going to move in by the time the school year's over anyway. So
dude,
it doesn't even matter.
I shifted like sophomore, junior year. It was like the last month of school. I got shipped up to Winter, Wisconsin, and they had to enroll me in school for 4 fucking weeks. You know what I did? Not a goddamn thing. I fucking dicked off and I told the teachers off. Like, I'm here the last 3 weeks of school. What the fuck do you want from me? You're not going to give me a grade that's actually going to matter. Like,
nor is it going to be based on anything.
Nor that it's going to count for anything because I haven't been here. Like, who are you to, like, yeah, I could try, but it's not going to be great because I don't have the tools. Because yeah, no. But then I went back to Seymour, and like senior year, I remember I had a D in art class graduating, and my dad came pounding on my door because he got the call. I was already 18 and moved out, but he still got the call to let him know that he wasn't going to get to see me walk graduation because I had a D. Fucking just smoked a bowl, and he's like, all right, now get your ass to school. And I was like, say what? He's like, yeah, I'm driving. And I was like, okay. Roll up. You know what they do after the seniors leave? You know what they do? They give the whole school a walkthrough with drugs, drug dogs. That was fun. I'm just gonna sit in the office for a bit.
For what it's worth, though, just with you and knowing you so long, objectively not being your parent, if I saw that you had a D in fucking art, I'd be pissed too. It'd be like, what? Like, just because like you are so artistic and creative,
but I never applied it.
I get it. No, I totally understand, because art's the only thing in all of school that I ever passed.
I know,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, objectively, if I was like, come on, I would be like, come on now.
It was my jewelry class. It was my jewelry class senior year. I had one last project to turn in, and I didn't do it. And he's like, well, you're gonna fail. And I'm like, show me. And he did. And I went back in and I finished my jewelry project.
Speaking of,
and I walked.
Having art class with you was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, music wise.
Okay.
I'm gonna pose a question.
Okay.
Music wise.
Do I have the time to answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you do. Sorry. No, I'm just framing it.
Okay.
So there's a lot of music that me and you have gone through in specific times and different emotions and different things. Is there a specific time frame and or song that you would put as like a reoccurring thing throughout your life? Because I know that like me and you have songs that like me and you connected with throughout our friendship that like, not that they don't apply now, but it was kind of like a time and place thing.
Yeah.
And then now it's not same. Like, there's still good songs, but it's not.
They don't have the same connection
impact.
For you.
But do you have a song or something that is consistent throughout like your whole life?
I have a couple. So Haley's song by Eminem. That was, I'm getting goosebumps already. My daddy used to sing that to me, like rap it to me, because he loved Eminem too. That was one of our bonds. Like, we bonded through music. 5 Finger Death Punch. that was like me and him like another rock solid band of ours. But Haley's song, that song, that'll take me back to any moment I have with my dad. Like just hearing that like brings him in me. And then I had a couple more in my head and now I just can't get that. Oh, so the Fuck You Did With Me on Eminem's newest album, the song Temporary. So my dad died 2 years ago and Zach over here decided like
to fuck your shit up.
Fuck me up. Like no fucking warning at all. Okay, he just goes, you know it came out.
You need to listen.
You need to listen to this song, and it was Temporary. And I'm just like, okay. Like, anytime he's just like this, like lays down a track for me, I know I gotta listen to it because there's some sort of it's gonna hit me.
There's something in it.
There's something behind the song because that's just how we operate. So I listened to it, and I like no warning. It was you need to listen to this, and I'm like, okay, buckle up, and I get listening, and I'm like, you. Fuck. Like, I'm sitting in the middle of my living room, tears fucking bawling. My husband, no warning, has no idea what's going on. I'm listening to something and I'm crying recklessly. And he's like, what? And I was like, I'm going to kill Zach. I'm going to unalive him. And he's like, why? And I was just like, because he gave me no warning. He just said I need to listen to this. And he knew it was going to fuck me up. And he still chose not to warn me.
Yeah.
You didn't warn me. And that was very heartless. But I like that song for the first 6 months. I heard it. It was, and it still does, but the meaning behind it is so strong. And it's like that connection that like everything I needed to hear and how Eminem wrote it so beautifully for his daughter, Haley, which even ties the psychosis of it. And I'm not crazy and I love Eminem, but I'm not stan Eminem. I'm not that far Eminem. I love you. You, but no, the connection and the ties for his music into my life, it just that song was icing to the cake, like the last sign from my dad that like he's still out there looking out for me, and though like my pain is real and it's right now, it's not gonna be intense like that forever, and that's the whole point of the song. So there's that. And then Goo Goo Dolls in the song Iris and Black Balloon or
Sympathy.
Yeah,
I would assume
just that Black whole Balloon. Album, The Girl Next Door.
Yep.
Yeah, I just bought that album on vinyl. I can't wait till we have a record player again so I can listen to it for real. But so that album, when I was 15, 16 years old, I had my suicide attempt. And when I was hospitalized, that was the CD I listened to the whole 72 hours in the free time I had. Like that was my... So, but like that also, like when I'm more in my suicidal ideations or like in my deep depression, a song that'll bring me out of it is actually Logic's 1-800-NUMBER song. And like I go deep into that, and Kevin knows I'm in a dark space and I'm trying to pull myself out.
So there have been few times where like a song is like hit me.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, like I'll feel something or like it'll, but there are very, especially lately, there are very few like. What?
No, I have.
There are very few like songs that have like, you know, that whole body like chills, like very few. But that one, I remember when that came out because I listened. It wasn't even on purpose. It was somebody on Facebook had posted it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. And I listened to it, and that was one of those moments where I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, just listening
to the whole... It was like whole body
Mm-hmm.
chills. Like, when I'm going through it deep and I need to push myself out of it, like, I will listen to that on repeat and I will scream it until, like, I have it wrapped in my head that I want to still be here and, like, I am grounded in that that I Want to Be Alive, because that song is so impactful. Like, it's the side that he's saying he can't be here anymore, but it's also like, take that step, see that you want to be here. So it was just, that one's a magical one for me. Influential, still impactful moment. Moon River.
Ooh, good call.
Breakfast at Tiffany's. Yeah. It was my it's me and my husband's song. Aww. It is. It is. It's just magical. I love that. And Iron and Wine.
Ooh, good call on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back, however, to Breakfast at Tiffany's. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you about that, because about your wedding song.
Yeah.
About you picking it.
Okay.
Because I've talked with a lot of people about like their wedding songs or whatever, and there are some, not all. There are some that I've talked to that are like, yeah, this is kind of like our song, but like it's not. One side or the other is like, yeah, I like it because the song that me and my wife or husband have, but like it's not really like, if I would have picked a different one, I could have picked a different one or whatever. So I'll ask you how you picked that song, but then I'm going to tell you another story about me and Cheryl's wedding song.
Okay.
So why that song?
I honestly like don't remember the like huge reason boiling down to it. I've just always loved Breakfast at Tiffany's. Like, I'm a big 80s movie girl. Anyways, and I just like me and
Judd Nelson was taken. So
anyways, me and Kevin have watched that, and I'm like, it was before the wedding, but like really interpreted it as our song. I think it was more closer to after we had miscarried, and like watching that, and it's just like the lyrics of that song, like he found another version of it, and it's by Kid Koala, and he's a DJ, and he does like and he does a whole like scratch version of it, and it's just so epic and so beautiful. And he like, and just the lyrics behind it, like, two drifters off to see the world, there's such a lot of world to see after the same. Anyways, so like I just always seen me and Kevin as like, well, like in the world that we're in, like a lot of us like to be fully conscious and awake most of the time. Most reality, a lot of people are still asleep, still drifting.
Yep.
And like when I'm with him, I'm more conscious and aware, present. And I want to be a part of the world, and that just tied it all together. But like he totally agreed on the song too, so like it was just a rock solid one for us.
So there, I say this because me and Cheryl
but I could have it all wrong.
Well, maybe
it's my interpretation, I guess.
But it works for you, and that was kind of what I was going to tell you this story, because that's kind of the point that I was getting at. Because when me and Cheryl had a song that was like our song when we first started dating, I would sing it to her all the time, even before we started dating, just when we were working together. And she would be working on the other side of like the room. I would sing it to her from the other side, just because like that song specifically, like I felt it when I heard it. Just like I've said, when I first met Cheryl, there was something different. I didn't know it then, and I couldn't really like tell you then, but there was just something. I know you'll understand this. Me and you have talked about this. It was a soul connection thing. Like there was just something different about that relationship. So there was that song that we connected with up until, and I would sing it to her all the time, and then we were talking about getting married. It was before I proposed, and we were talking about getting married because she was like, "Hey, you've been in a long-term relationship that was going nowhere as far as marriage goes. I was in a long-term relationship that yeah, we got married, but wasn't anything. She's like, and I don't have time to like be waiting another 8 years for you to propose or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if this is going to be a thing, like, just know that like,
That's my end game.
I'll give you 2 years.
Oh.
So, and she said it, we had a whole conversation about it, and it wasn't like a demanding thing, which when I tell people that, they take it that way. It was, we had an actual conversation.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, I like you. I want to be in a relationship with you, but these are my terms because of my background, your background, my kids, stuff like that. So if you don't want to do this, you have a clean out. Mm-hmm. No hard feelings, no nothing. We can be friends. Not a big deal.
Right.
But if you want this to go this way, there is a time frame. Yeah. Because of my past relationship, I promised marriage for like 6 years. Yeah. Not ever, like I say this all the time, and I didn't know it then. I know it now from looking back, but I was purposely doing things so that I didn't have to do that because something was like, you don't want this. Yeah. And she knew that too because we were talking about it. Anyway, not the point. So it was 2 years, and so before I proposed to her, we were talking about using when we were to get married, that this would be the song that we would use. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to sound like a hipster, but it's 100% true. So when Divide came out, Ed Sheeran, mm-hmm. the day it dropped, like the day, and this was it wasn't before Spotify, but this is before like when albums dropped, it was like posted everywhere and everybody had already heard it in 2 hours. Yeah. It dropped. I went out and bought it that morning before I went to work. And I listened to it, and there's a song. I forgot what it was. Now I forgot what it's called. Perfect. Oh. And I remember I listened to it, and I was like, "This is it." Like the body chills, like mm-hmm. the whole thing. I was like, "This is it." Like this is the song. She listened to it, bawled, hysterically cried, and she's like, she said the same thing. These were separate events, by the way. I wasn't like, "Hey, go listen to this song." No warning. Because I didn't even tell her about it.
See,
it
exactly. No,
I didn't even tell her to listen to it. Terrible. Is what I'm saying. Oh, okay. I listened to it, and me personally was like, "This is it," but I didn't even tell her because she hadn't listened to the album.
Then yet. She listened to the whole album.
She listened to it separately.
Effect.
She listened to it separately and messaged me crying. Yeah, and was like, "I think this is it," and I was like, "I was thinking the same thing." Then that becomes a single for that album, so then it's on the radio everywhere. Yeah. And then him and Beyonce did a remake of that song. And so that was on the radio. So by the time we didn't end up getting married for like a year or two after that, after we had made that decision. Yeah. And by that time, everybody had used it for their wedding. Everybody had used it for their wedding song. It was beaten to death. Every fucking wedding video that was coming up in that 2 years, it was that song.
And you were over it.
Yeah. So I told Cheryl, I was like, no. I was like, I love you. I love this song, but like,
it's not it.
I'm so over even hearing this song right now, and I really just like I don't want it to come on at our wedding and me be like, I just don't. And so we didn't really talk really about like what the song was, or what the song was going to be. We kind of just made that decision and then was like, whatever. So then in planning the wedding. I've said this multiple times. There are a lot of things in our wedding that didn't happen that we planned on doing. Never even like, if I could do a whole podcast on the amount of things that didn't happen there was a lot. We planned and bought things and made things and a lot of shit that still sits in this garage and nobody even knows that it was supposed to be at my wedding. Anyway, but so we were talking about that and we were going to do we had a plan that we were going to do a dance for our first dance. Mm-hmm. That was a culmination of all the dances in movies. So like A Knight's Tale, Footloose, like things like, and yeah, it's, yeah, with the water, yeah, that was in there too. But we picked like all the ones the dance from Titanic when they're in the bar. Yeah, that was in there. So we put them all together and we practiced and like we had it like, but in planning that we were talking about like songs from movies. Mm-hmm. And I was telling her, that one of my favorite movies is Be Cool, because I think that movie is super underrated. It's such a great movie. But there's a scene in that movie of Steven Tyler singing "Crying," the song "Crying," and he's out on stage and he brings the girl from the movie who's trying to get a record deal on stage with them, and they sing it. And I always like that version of that song. And we were talking about that, and I told her that, and we listened to the song, and she's like, this song is kind of perfect, like lyrically wise, and it still kind of fits like the movie thing that we had for our wedding, because everything about our wedding was movies.
Yeah.
And she's like, and it kind of fits like not only our relationship, but like kind of fits the movie thing or whatever. And it's a movie that we didn't incorporate in anything in the wedding at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of just like left it at that. I was like, yeah, we'll just use that. We'll just use that. Like that's yeah, like that's not a big deal. And then the more that we were like preparing for the wedding, and the more that we were like listening to the songs that we were gonna put in the wedding, the more and more, even now to this day, I'm like, that was kind of perfect in a weird sort of like like it just kind of fell that way.
Yeah.
In a weird sort of way. And now I couldn't even think of a different, like I've heard plenty of songs, and still to this day, like there's none that like really hit me in that way of like for me and Cheryl, like as like our song.
That's epic.
So anyway, so yeah, that was a long story. I'm sorry, but
no, it's good.
But for context wise,
yeah.
But
no, I'm just thinking like like me and Kevin, we eloped or did a camping elopement type thing. So like for weeks before the wedding, like I had collaborated with him on YouTube Music. And like we did a playlist, and it was just like our thoughts and perspectives on songs that like really tied into us. So then coming to like the week of the wedding, we downloaded it, and like that's what we'd listen to, and it was just really cool, and I still have it today. But we did the same thing for my like labor and delivery playlist. Like we just collaborated and put different songs in there. So like Wookie Foot is really like memorable for me during my pregnancy and like my birthing story with Opie, because like Small But Fierce, like that is
for sure.
Anyways,
but I was gonna tag on to that there, because we did the same thing when Wyatt was born.
Yeah,
we had, not only we put on Facebook of like anybody that has birthing songs, like just put them in there, and we just threw them in a playlist, but me and Cheryl also did it. And just like serendipity wise, like just the way the universe works, which is really weird. Like I said, kind of like our wedding song sort of thing, where it kind of just, and the Ed Sheeran one before that, when it just kind of happens out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That happened. We had a whole, there was like 40 some songs on it. And we had gone through them all, because she was in the hospital for 6 hours. So we had gone through them all, but we just had it on like a loop or whatever. And my son was born to Hallelujah, the song Hallelujah.
That's beautiful.
The moment that he came, like that was like, there's a video of me holding him, singing to him, because that was the song that came, like just weird things, how songs work in your life. It's just, I just wanted, because you said that, it just triggered that.
I didn't get to play my playlist while I was getting cut open.
Oh, why not?
I don't know. We didn't ask. It was more like urgent than it was like, it wasn't a planned C-section. It was like, oh shit, my baby's heart rate's not where it's supposed to be. So like they monitored us for a while, and even then I was more concerned. I probably would have helped if I had my music. But like it was COVID, so like they swabbed me, and the lady swabbed so hard I got a nosebleed.
That happened the first time I got swabbed.
Fuck that.
They stuck it way the fuck up there. Yeah.
And then they're monitoring me, and then they finally decide that they're gonna send us into surgery, and it's just like, oh crap, well we better call people, let them know what's going on, and make it clear to Kevin, like, this goes south, who's getting taken care of and why. And like my wish is on that. So if anything did go south and like I wasn't able to speak for myself, they knew my terms and what I wanted. And none of that happened. And she got sent to the ICU. So then, like, after it was just, there was no bliss and like calm. Hey, I got this cool baby. It was just like, oh crap, like I can't walk and we're in recovery and they're taking her to be evaluated because she can't breathe and I still can't walk. And they're like, well, you want to see her before you leave? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, well, you think you can get out of bed? And I started kicking my feet in there. And they're like, you have abdominal stitches. And I was like, I don't fucking care. Get me out of this bed. Like, you asked. I can move. Let's go. And the nurse came back later to check on me. And I was like, okay, so what's the deal with the C-section? How long do I really got to be there? And they're like 48 to 36 hours. And I was like, how early can I get out of here? And they're like, well, earliest is 24. I was like, okay, let me see the doctor first thing in the morning. And she walks in and I was like, you're going to discharge me? And she's like, no. And I was like, you're going to discharge me, please. And she's like, no. And I was like, my baby is in a hospital and Nina, you're going to discharge me. And she's like, give me to the 25-hour mark and then I'll discharge you. I was like, fine. Not happy.
But not a minute.
But later. Like legit, you're signing my paperwork and I'm out of here. If not, I'm pulling my IVs and I'm happily walking out. And she's like, okay. She's like, you get a shower and you rest today. And I was like, fine, because I still had like 12 hours to go. So that was my day. It was fun. Not. Anyways, that was off topic.
That's fine. I have, because I chose to get them tattooed on me, I have songs and bands that forever, whether I feel the same or not, I forever will listen to and remember because they meant something, and I remember a time that was nice, if that makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah, there's obviously a song that me and you had for a really long time was "Hold On" by Good Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And although I don't connect with that song the same way I did then, I look back on the times, the memories I have with that song as they were good times retrospectively. Yeah. Not in the moment. No. But looking back on it, I'm like, no, I'm glad that I had those moments. Like, I'm glad I had those times. Like, I'm glad I had the times of sitting in your apartment with you and listening to
my last night in Seymour.
That
at the apartment.
For sure. And also looking back on that too, because I've thought about that many times, but also looking back, obviously, I was younger and not as emotionally mature or grown up as I am right now. But even things that were said and done that night, I look back on it and I was like, I think although that night was a lot of fun. Yeah. I don't think I would have been as harsh on you as I was looking back on it. Because you
would have.
Because there was a lot of because there was a lot of things that I said to you that was coming out of a place of well, what about me? You know what I mean? It really wasn't about, there were things that really wasn't about you or about what would be best for you or anything. It was kind of like what am I going to do without this?
Am I going to be okay that you're leaving?
Yeah, I've said this to you and Cora before, using you guys as my emotional stability, me putting no effort into fix myself, just that it's your job. Yeah. And I put a lot of that on you that night that you left, because I felt because I hadn't dealt with that, I felt great. So now I'm by myself. Whereas now looking back on it, I would have been less harsh about it and been look, I'm gonna miss you, but I get it.
That was your perspective of it, though. You seemed like you were being harsh on me, but in reality, we were all having those small moments, because in reality, this safe haven we created at my apartment, that was Cora's home too. Cora lived on my couch, and we name drop her all the time. She says she wants to do a podcast with us, by the way, but she thinks it'd be too many squirrels. Which it might, but it'd be fun. It'd be fun. Options.
You get a couple nuggets in there.
Anyways, it was her home too. We lived there, so it was all of us getting together that one last time, and it was the finality of like, well, high school for me, because you guys still had another year, but like also I was up and leaving town again, like, and it was so much more final because I didn't know I was an adult now, so what was gonna happen? Like, I was getting out of there to battle debt, and like I picked up a lot more habits along the way being up north. So I mean,
figure your shit out.
Struggles, like figure my shit out. I did, money wise. I paid everything off, but I traded off addictions and like coping with reality in other ways. So,
but like there's also that too, as far as like music goes too, is that like that Eminem album, Recovery, the one, because we bought it. I bought it. Yeah, I bought it the night before, and that's all we listened to that whole night.
We did.
And that the same way as like there are songs, not the whole album, but there are songs on that brings me back to that to that night and the feelings I had that night and whatever. I will go back to what you just said though, is because I think that's what in the moment hurt the most.
Yeah,
is that we had kind of built our own like treehouse.
Yeah, it was like that
with
final
the three
moment of Breakfast Club, like the like, final hour of like, oh shit, what happens on Monday, guys?
Yeah, what happens now?
Yeah, it was our final moment, and it shifted so many things. But anyways, Recovery, yeah, that was a great album. I love that one too.
I have a weird one. That's I have a weird one that I want to get tattooed. And I've wanted to get it tattooed for like.
Oh yeah, the last, you were leading into that years. With. Did you have a question to that lead-in?
Which one? What did I say? I don't even remember what I said.
You were talking about your tattoos and the music, and then we got talking on Good Charlotte, and we got lost in
so
our
last
like day.
So like year. I have the tattooed on my hand. This one that has Blink-182, Good Charlotte, and Avril Lavigne. Yeah. And they're from specific albums. Like the Avril Lavigne one is from her original album, her debut album. This one is from The Young and the Hopeless, which is my favorite Good Charlotte album. Yeah. And then that one is from I forgot what it's called, but it's the one that has I Miss You on it.
Yeah.
God, I'm just gonna hold it. I'll fix it later. Anyway.
You fucked with it too much.
I know I did.
Okay.
Anyway. But like I got them tattooed on there because although I don't feel, in some ways, I don't feel the same way I did then. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that even when I hear those songs, it's not like like skip. Yeah. Like the memories I have with those songs are still good. They're still good memories. Yeah. Like that's what I was saying about the Good Charlotte song, is that although I don't connect with Hold On as much as I did then, I still hear it and I look back on it with good mindset of those memories. Okay. Like the fact that we did have that time together, the fact that we did share those emotions and kind of helped lift each other up in a way because of that. And there's a song that I wanted to get tattooed for the last 3 years, but it just hasn't happened. Because in the same way, it's kind of followed me through my life. Just I've seen the lyrics in that song a different way as I've gotten older. In different ways. It was Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue.
Oh, okay.
So there's a line. Hold on, I gotta think about it right now. Oh. Time Rage hit the stage. I don't know. I can't think of it right now. But it's the breakdown of that song. But my dad has always had that. Dr. Feelgood has always had that album throughout my entire life. So my dad, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, like the whole deal. Like that's been through like my whole Poison, like through my whole life.
Absolutely.
And I had that CD. He had a stereo in the basement. Me and my brother moved in the basement before we moved up here in our house, and it was in the stereo. So we would play it every day, and we were able to play it really loud because it was the basement. So like we didn't really have to worry about it being loud. And so that album has followed me throughout my entire life because I've always loved Motley Crue. But that there are pieces of that song that like have hit different, and it's that line. And I would waste the time to go through it to pick it out in this podcast, but I'm not going to sit here in silence for that long. But there's
Who says there would be silence?
I just did it. I'm not going to sing it.
Anyways, go ahead.
But that line in there, it hit different as I became an adult because yeah, we're still kicking ass. Wait. Fuck. I need to give me your phone. Because now it's gonna bother me. Anyway, but like I was leading into that to saying that I find it really, and I would think that it's a part of the spirituality and song. I don't know what you would, the soul of a song.
Mm-hmm.
When you get that right, that follows you. Because like everybody that writes songs for the most part don't write songs and they're just like, oh, this is going to be a hit, so we'll just write whatever words go in here that will get it.
Story.
It's a feeling, it's a story, it's whatever. And I just find it I think it's so cool that because of that, songs can not only change as you get older, but also affect you differently as you get older.
Oh, absolutely.
Hold on.
Oh, Johnny Cash Hurt.
Yeah.
That song, that's been influential in my life through many different phases. It was like one of my dad's favorite songs. Like my dad was all around Johnny Cash, like Rain of Fire, loved A Boy Named Sue, like all of them, very memorable. But then that song he redid and it was put out, and like for the longest time I sang that when I was in my drinking phase, my alcoholism, and I go out and sing karaoke, and like just like how I owned up to that song and how I was putting my own hurt in my own
I think we did all this too fast.
That was exactly.
I think we did all this too fast. That was it.
That was the time?
No, that was the lyric.
Oh,
I think we did all of this too fast.
Yeah.
That was the lyric that like I said, I've heard that song my entire life.
Yeah.
And I've kind of just like I really like the song anyway. And there's a lot of lyrics in there that are different throughout the time. But I remember it was probably 10 years ago now, 11 years ago. I was listening to that song and just that lyric hit me, and it still does to this day. And it just hit me so hard that I was like, yeah. And I let it sit for a while because that's always been my thing with like, especially like lyrics or things that I get tattooed on me. I'll let it sit for a while because like everybody has like a good idea.
Yeah.
They're like, I really want this as a tattoo. And then like a couple years from that, then you're like, eh.
I mean, but there's one.
So I let it sit. The one on my ribs I let sit for a long time too. Oh Love by Green Day. That that lyric in that song of I wear my heart on a noose sat with me I sat on it for years, and then I was like, this is not going to go away. Like I just like how this is. I got it on my ribs. Anyway, and the same with this Nickelback. Are we having fun yet?
Oh, I love Nickelback.
I sat
Why did we not talk about Nickelback?
I sat on that for so long too. I sat on that for a long time.
Are we having fun?
Because I was like, I don't know. Like I don't know if this is really gonna like sit. But then that was even cooler. So I'm gonna tell a story about this because it is music related. That was even cooler. So this I sat on for a long time because my thought process was I wanted the Motley Crue one. I wanted to get that for my birthday, and then I was gonna get this one.
All the right reasons. That album.
And then I was gonna get that one the year after.
Animals.
All of them. We'll do a Nickelback one.
Saving Me. That was the song.
Anyway, so that lyric, and jump back to that and then go back. But so that lyric in that song in Kickstart My Heart, I think we did this all too fast.
Yeah.
That hit me because I felt, I mean, I keep saying this when I tell people this, I'm not even that old. I'm like 32.
I mean, we're not.
But
in the grand scheme of things, we should only be a third of the way done.
But I heard that and it hit me and I was like, yeah, like I feel like my whole, like before this point, like is just a blur of like, I kind of remember things, but not really. Like there are a lot of things missing. And so like that really hit me and then I sat on it. This is Michelangelo. I sat on it for probably 3 years. And then it kept, I had the same feeling every time I heard it. And I was like, no, this is one of those things that like I need. Cause this is like one of those reminders and one of the things that like I'm always going to feel. Mm-hmm. Going back to this, the same thing with this is that I have always felt this line right here. Are we having fun yet? Cause I've lived my life. For the most part, I've lived my life that way. I've lived my life of like just doing things. And then I get to a point because of like my depression and anxiety. I get to a point after doing those things because I get spouts of like manicness that I'll be like, was that even worth it? Like, this isn't even like fun. And so I've always liked that is because like, it's just like, plus it goes back to like, are you having fun? Yeah. Like for a reminder for me of like, I know that like, I'm a dad and I'm a husband and like all this stuff, but like, and I have all these responsibilities I have to do, but like, are you still having fun? But that came cool because like I said, I was going to wait until I got the Motley Crue tattoo and then get that one after. And then Emma, my oldest, was like practicing tattooing like her friends or whatever. Uh-huh. And I was just looking at Cheryl and we didn't really have a whole lot of extra money. And I had that like, I want a tattoo, but I've done a lot of tattoos myself and I didn't want to keep like doing, plus I'm running out of space because I can't do it with my left hand. I know. So like I'm running out of room. You're running out of arm. And so I was like, I really go to your leg next. I really want to have one of them. It's not good. It's not good. But that I wanted one, but I was like, but I don't really like, we don't have the money to go get it, but like I really want. And so I was talking to Emma and I was like, would you want to do a tattoo on me? And like, of course she was like, yeah, that's awesome. Whatever. Cause I had just got a new tattoo gun myself cause I was going to do Cheryl's one on her leg. And I was like, it's lettering. You could take all the time you need. Mm-hmm. I know people are going to be like, I don't really feel pain for tattoos. Like, you know, like my pain tolerance for tattoos is pretty high, except for my ribs that fucking hurt. But so I was like, take your time. You know, you can take all the time you want. It's right there. I was like, I'll even draw it out ahead of time. And she did the whole thing. And it's damn near it's damn near perfect. And she did it. And so like not only was like this cool that like my daughter got to do it, but also it was cool in a way of like kind of full circle moment of like, are we having fun? Yeah, are we having fun yet? Your daughter is sitting there doing that for you. Are you having fun? Yeah, it was like a I don't know. It was like a universe thing of like, I love that. We went over. We did. That's okay. That's okay. Other than my bladder is screaming, so if I'm bouncy, I'm sorry. I've been trying to not because I was like, "There's 15 minutes left. I can do this." We went. we went off, but we can come back and circle and talk about it if you want another time on another podcast. Because I would like to keep talking about music. Because I feel like there's a lot of my shift from music from like high school and like what I listen to the daily now is 100% different in so many ways. Like just what I listen to now, like more Trevor Hall and like Xavier Rudd and I can't think of anybody else right now because my bladder is screaming. I'm sorry. But yeah, we can totally circle back and do another one with this. Yeah, there's just a lot. There's so much music-wise because we are such musical people. Like my daughter is so, like, if there is not music on, she's humming or singing and I was like, where did you get that from? And I was like, wait. I do the same thing all the time. Like I go into work and I'm like,
what's the song in your head today? And they're like, we don't do that. And I'm like,
I do.
You do too. You're not trying. You're not trying.
Be funner.
Be funner. They're like, oh, hey. And I'm just like, no. And then like our radio is like really tiny and you can only hear it when you go all the way back. And then on the way back up, I'm singing and everyone's like, oh, fuck, Haley. And I'm just like, this song in my head. I'm going to sing. I'm going to dance. I'm going to shimmy. And they're like, Haley, go away. I'm like, no. I'm going to shimmy.
No, because I'm going to get it stuck in your head.
This is how I do it. Here we go. Anyways, y'all have a great week.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
This will be dropping, I think, like the week before. Should be?
Yep.
Yeah.
Week before.
So, week before. Happy Halloween, everyone. Stay safe out there. Be smart. Do fun things.
Love you. Thanks for talking.
Love you. Thanks for talking.
Go pee.
Okay, thanks.